Going on, guys? It's Steve. Now, a lot of you guys can agree with me on this. Growing up, I really didn't like Kevin Garnett. Just because what the Celtics used to do to the Cavaliers. I'm a really big LeBron fan. What the Celtics used to do to Dwyane Wade, what the Celtics used to do to Carmelo Anthony and the Knicks. So it really frustrated me, and I really hated Kevin Garnett. Like, for example, I was really happy when LeBron dunked on Kevin Garnett in the 2008 Eastern Conference. What was it? The semifinals? I think it was the semifinals. When LeBron dunked on Kevin Garnett, and that was one of the best dunks in NBA history. When Marv Albert screams "LeBron James with no regard for human life," and then I was also watching KG when he hit the game winner against the New York Knicks. That pissed me off, and that made me hate him even more than I already did. And just doing what he needed to do, and teaming up with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and winning that championship. At the time, I didn't care about the teaming up thing. I just hated that they would always beat the Cavaliers. They would always beat, the Miami Heat. They would always beat the New York Knicks, and that's why LeBron went to Miami to defeat the Celtics. If you guys don't know that, then I don't know what to tell you. But I'm sorry if you guys just heard that my mic fell over. But that's the main reason why LeBron went to Miami in the first place, was to beat the Boston Celtics, because he simply couldn't get past them by himself, and the Cavaliers weren't helping him. So that's why he left. And I absolutely hated Kevin Garnett. But we can't sit here and deny that he's one of the best players in NBA history. There is no doubt about it. I mean, if you look at it, I think he's a one-time MVP, maybe two times. No, I'm pretty sure it's one time in 2004 NBA MVP. He's a Defensive Player of the Year. He's an NBA champion. He's a numerous-time All-Star. I think for his career, he averaged 18 points per game and 9 rebounds per game. I mean, just a great player overall, both offensively and defensively. And I'm pretty sure there was one year where he led the Minnesota Timberwolves in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, and blocks. So pretty much every statistical category, which is just crazy, and that has to blow your mind, because come on, how many players have done that in NBA history? I mean, let's be real. You know what I mean? So just think, looking back, just a great player. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was a fan of him my entire life, because I wasn't, and that's just the truth. I simply wasn't. I hated the guy. Even when he played for my second favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets. It's so weird saying the Brooklyn Nets. It's still weird, and they've been in Brooklyn for 4 years now. I'm so used to saying New Jersey Nets, because that's what I grew up on. But I'm so used to even when Kevin Garnett came to the Brooklyn Nets, him and Paul Pierce, I still hated them. And you guys know how I feel about Paul Pierce. I hated him too. But eventually, as time went by, and wounds heal and things like that, you have to really show respect where respect is due. Him again, Paul Pierce is one of the greatest ever. Ray Allen is one of the greatest ever, and Kevin Garnett is one of the greatest ever. Now, the thing that's so significant about Kevin Garnett retiring is it's definitely the end of an era. Now, the era's been over for a while now, but seeing these players retire just amplifies it and intensifies that it's a brand new era, brand new generation. Luckily, we still have some active players dominating from that generation. Now, obviously, the 2003 draft, it wasn't really, they were 7 years after, but at the same time, they're still part of that generation. So I'm happy that we still have LeBron, Wade, Melo, and Bosh, but how much longer is that going to last? A few more years, you know what I mean? So it's definitely an end of a generation. And Chris Paul only has a few more years left, Dwight Howard, you know what I mean? And we grew up, and we had the Chris Pauls, the Melos, the LeBrons, the Wades, the KGs, the Tim Duncans, the Iversons, the Kobes, the Dirk Nowitzkis, all of these players dominating, and now it's just it's just a totally different game now. It's like a point guard era now. It's Paul. You got Stephen Curry. You got Damian Lillard. You got Russell Westbrook. You got Kyrie Irving. It's crazy. It went from a big man era to the small forward generation, now to the point guard generation, and it just baffles my mind, because again, man, it's crazy, because I'm starting to feel old, and I'm only 19, dude. I'm only 19, and the crazy thing is, it's I've seen almost 3 different generations of basketball and I've only been watching for 10, 12 years now, but at the same time, man, all I can really say is just an amazing player. And again, man, it's the end of an era. All those dominant players from that era, Allen Iverson. We had Dirk Nowitzki. He's still going. Thank goodness he's still going. I love that dude, Dirk. He's top 10 ever in my opinion. Tim Duncan just retired. Kobe retired. Sean Marion. I don't even know if any of you guys even remember who Sean Marion was, but at the time, Sean Marion was one of the best players in the league. 22-10. Now, I'm not saying he's an all-time great, but he dominated for a while with the Phoenix Suns, and you know what I mean. And then Amari Stoudemire, Steve Nash retired. Kobe. It's just crazy, man. And then when you sit there and really think and like look back, you understand like, okay, Tony Parker is almost done. Chris Paul is almost done. Carmelo Anthony's almost done. Dwyane Wade, LeBron, Chris Bosh, all of these players that were part of this generation in terms of dominating at the same time they were dominating. It's crazy to look back at and just understand like, wow, man, like it's so like sometimes it's hard to watch basketball because you start to feel like, well, the game is so much different than it was even 5 years ago. And I remember the days when there weren't any super teams around, and really the Celtics were the first team to do that. Really, obviously the Bulls were a super team, but they drafted Pippen and things like that. But the Celtics were the first to like trade to make a super team, in my opinion. But you know what I mean. And like I'm used to seeing like LeBron in the 08-09 season, like when I was like 12 years old. Dwyane Wade in the 09 season. Kobe 09. We were supposed to see LeBron versus Kobe. We were supposed to see Dwyane Wade versus Kobe. At least we got to see Melo versus Kobe. And we were supposed to see Allen Iverson dominate even longer than he did. And partly that's because some really bad, evil people, and tried to ruin his career by sending him to jail, for, I think he was in jail for like a year or two before that dude saved his life, the coach from that college. I don't remember the name of the college right now, but, just like all of these players, man, Tim Duncan, and just, I'm used to Tim Duncan dominating, winning championships. I'm used to, just Steve Nash, back-to-back MVPs, and Shaquille O'Neal, and it's just crazy, man. Like, that's what when I was young, that's what the era was, It's like the Kevin Garnetts, the Nashes, like all these dominant players. And now it's just like there are barely any players from that generation, and it hasn't even been that long. It's only been like 10 years, and we at least have like at least 5 of them left, and Chris Paul, Wade, Melo, and Bosh, and Dirk. Dirk's still there too, but Dirk's probably gonna be gone in a year or two. Chris Paul, LeBron, Melo, Wade, and Bosh probably gonna be done in a few years. Especially Dwyane Wade's gonna be done in a few years, And the day Dwyane Wade retires, guys, oh my gosh, like that I will cry. That's gonna be a day I'll actually sit there and cry. Same thing with Melo, like everyone from the 03 draft, and Chris Paul as well from 05, and Dwight Howard as well. But so again, Kevin Garnett, just I can't sit there and act like he's not an all-time great. He definitely is, more than likely a top 25 player of all time. Definitely a top 25 player of all time. I mean, if you want to just name a few off the top, you got Dr. J, you got Pete Maravich, you got Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dominique, you got Hakeem, you got Karl Malone, John Stockton, Kobe, LeBron, you got D Wade, you got I'm trying to think of everyone else, Jordan, Larry Bird, Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Isaiah Thomas, Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, Dirk Nowitzki. You got all of these dominant players, and it's just like, wow, man, this is crazy. And for him to be up there with those players, that truly says a lot. It's just, I don't know, man. It's a bittersweet moment because it's not just the fact that he retired; it's the bigger picture that I'm thinking of, and it's just like, wow, man, I can't believe, one, it feels like I've been watching basketball for a long ass time, and two, it's just like it's so different now, man. I still love it to death, but geez, it's so different now, dude. It's far less competitive, to be honest. Like now we already know what team's gonna come out the East and West. There was a time where the Phoenix Suns were like And like another team, the Utah Jazz, and all these other teams, they had like 50 plus wins, and the Phoenix Suns were like 6, and the Utah Jazz were like 5. That was like the Darren Williams days, the AK-47. They had Paul Millsap, they had Kyle Korver, then you had Nash on the Suns, and then you had the Lakers, and you had the Houston Rockets with my main man Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming, and then in the East we had D Wade, we had LeBron. You guys remember the LeBron versus Deshaun Stevenson rivalry? That was so freaking hilarious. I grew up on that. You had the Denver Nuggets. You had, it's, I don't know, man. I'm just rambling on. It's a bittersweet moment. But anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Peace.